Today I am going to discuss with you a very important topic regarding in vitro fertilization, that is as to why IVF cycle fails. There are several reasons as to why an IVF cycle can fail. Today let me go through some of these factors. One of the commonest factor what we look at can be divided into patient factors and the clinic factors. When we look at the patient factors, that is the reason in the couple as to why they have not been successful, the most important reason which stands out is the maternal age or age of the female partner. This is the most important critical factor when it comes to the success of IVF. As the women's age advances, the quality and the quantity of the oocytes come down, and this is one of the reasons why the IVF cycle does not work. When we look at a young woman less than 35 years of age, say in our own clinic, when we put back 2 blastocysts, which is a day 5 embryo, we are looking at a success rate of about 65%, which means out of 10 couples we treat, 6 are able to achieve the pregnancy in the first cycle itself, which is really good. However, when the women's age increases and they reach an age of 40, even with the best 2 blastocysts being put in, we are looking at a success rate of only 25%. So over this period of 5 years, the success has come down to from 65% to 25%. So even maternal age is the most important critical factor when it comes to the success of IVF. Now moving on to the second factor which can contribute to the success, which is important, is the ovarian reserve. Medically we call it as. What this reflects is the egg number, basic egg number in a woman. Basically what happens is when the woman age crosses 35, the number of the eggs starts coming down. So when the number of eggs are less, the chances of pregnancy also comes down with the IVF. Say for instance, in our own clinic, when we quote a general rate of 65% as the success rates with one cycle of IVF, when the egg number is low, we quote a success rate of about 35 to 40%. So this is also very important factor which can contribute to the success of IVF. Now moving on to the third factor which can contribute to the success of IVF is the embryo quality. The embryo quality comes from either the sperm quality and the egg quality. In some couples the egg quality is poor, contributing to a poor embryo quality, and in some other couples the sperm quality is poor. When we look at embryo quality, we can classify them as either A, B, C. So when we are looking at a good grade embryos, we are talking about A grade and B grade embryos, which has got a higher chances of implantation. However, when we look at a low grade embryos like C grade embryos, we are looking at an implantation chance of about 15 to 20%. So this is another reason where where the IVF process may not work. So the other common reason what we see is in some couples what we see is these embryos are really good A grade or B grade embryos, but in spite of that they do not implant. One of the reasons behind this is that there is a chromosomal problem in the embryo which is preventing it from implantation. So that we cannot just make out by looking at the embryo. There are some specialized tests which are called the PGTA, which helps us decide whether that embryo is chromosomally normal or abnormal. So when one cycle fails, these are some of the things which we would consider as possible reasons the cycle has not worked, so that we can offer this in the next step of the treatment or in a subsequent cycle. So the other important reason why cycle fails is because of uterine factors. So what do we mean by this? The uterine lining is extremely important for implantation, and in some women the uterine lining is either focally thickened or it has pathologies such as polyps, as we call it as. If any of this pathology is there, it is not possible for the embryo to attach or implant. So these are some of the common conditions what we see as a failure of, as the reasons, potential reasons for the failure of an IVF cycle. But the most important thing one needs to consider is the clinic which one is choosing for having the IVF process done. There are many clinics and the success rates of IVF varies between clinics. Why is this so? Because this is dependent on the clinical expertise, the embryology expertise, the infrastructure available and the technology available. Provided we have all these factors, then those clinics offer high success rates. So you have to do your homework properly and do research as to which clinic is the best prior to starting the IVF journey. That might serve you a lot of pain along the journey of reaching a successful outcome. So in our clinic, in our own mother-to-be clinic, when we compare our workload, about 60% of the couples who come to us have already have failed cycles outside, either 1, 2 or even more. Even in this group of couples, we are able to achieve a very high success rates. So what do we do when a couple comes to us having failed cycles elsewhere? We go through the possible reasons which might be corrected, provide a personalized treatment plan, and we are able to get a high success rates even in this group of couples. Now we also have what is called a psychologist in the team, and many of these couples are quite distressed and depressed that they have had more than one cycle failed, and whether they will ever be able to have a positive result. And here the psychologist in our team helps them. They keep them in a positive frame of mind, keeps them motivated, so that as a team we are able to achieve the positive results. So thank you today for joining us to discuss about the various reasons as to why IVF cycle may not work. What is most important to remember is that just because one IVF cycle has not worked doesn't mean that it is not going to work. It just means that we have to look into the factors, possibly correct the factors which we can, and then proceed with further cycles, which is going to go a long way in achieving the much decided success. Thank you.
Like and subscribe Eagle Media Works.